These are the zodiac signs that are secretly psychopaths. Yes. And before you panic, breathe. I am Nostradamus. And what I reveal is not meant to create fear. It is meant to sharpen your discernment. I am not speaking about physical violence. I am speaking about emotional coldness, silent manipulation, a lack of remorse. Because some people do not feel empathy the way you do. They simulate it. They perform it. They use it when it benefits them. And the most frightening part is this. They often look normal. They look charming. They look polite. They look trustworthy. But inside, something is missing. They do not carry guilt the way you carry guilt. They do not reflect the way you reflect. They do not suffer for what they do. Astrology reveals light, but it also reveals shadow. And when certain signs are unhealed, that shadow becomes strategic, calculated, cold, observant. They can lie while holding eye contact. They can hurt you without changing their expression. They can use your emotions as a tool. And you only realize it when you are already attached, when you already trusted, when you already opened your heart. Today I will reveal which signs carry this energy when they are in their darkest form. And I will show you how to recognize the warning signs before you become part of their game. Subscribe now so you do not miss this revelation. And comment below if you have ever met someone who looked normal on the outside, but felt completely cold on the inside. First sign I must reveal is Scorpio. Not because it is the most psychopathic, but because it is the most secretive. I speak as Nostradamus, and I have seen this energy many times in my visions. Scorpio does not expose its darkness. Scorpio hides it. Scorpio studies you before you even realize you are being observed. This sign feels everything deeply, but it does not show everything. Scorpio can sit in silence and read your weaknesses. Scorpio can memorize your fears. Scorpio can sense where you are most vulnerable. And if unhealed, that knowledge becomes power. The dangerous part is not aggression. It is control. Scorpio rarely reacts immediately. Scorpio waits. Scorpio calculates. Scorpio chooses the perfect moment. They can smile while planning their next move. They can say they forgive while never forgetting. They can appear calm while resentment grows quietly beneath the surface. And because Scorpio is emotionally intense, people confuse their depth with loyalty. But depth is not always goodness. Intensity is not always love. When Scorpio is balanced, they are transformative, protective, fiercely loyal. But when Scorpio is in shadow, they become strategic in a cold way. They can manipulate emotionally without raising their voice. They can withdraw affection as punishment. They can test you without telling you. They do not need chaos. They prefer silence. And silence can be more dangerous than noise. Scorpio understands secrets. And that is why they can keep their own so well. If they choose to deceive, it will be almost impossible to detect at first. Because they control their expressions. They control their tone. They control the narrative. And by the time you sense something is wrong, they have already positioned themselves 3 steps ahead. This is why Scorpio is not the loud psychopath. Scorpio is the silent one. If you want the next sign revealed, subscribe now. And comment below if you have ever felt the mysterious and unsettling energy of a Scorpio in shadow. Second sign I must reveal is Gemini. Not because Gemini is the most violent. Not because Gemini is the most cruel. But because Gemini can be the most mentally dangerous when they are in shadow. And I say this as Nostradamus, because I have seen this energy many times in my visions. I have seen it behind smiles, behind jokes, behind charm that feels harmless. Gemini does not attack with fists. Gemini attacks with words. Gemini attacks with confusion. Gemini attacks with psychological pressure that you cannot explain to anyone. And that is exactly why it is so secret. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication, the planet of speech, the planet of persuasion. This gives Gemini a gift. But when unhealed, that gift becomes a weapon. Gemini can say one thing to you, and another thing to someone else, and still look innocent in both conversations. They can play both sides. They can switch masks. They can adjust their personality depending on the room. And the terrifying part is this. Sometimes they do it so naturally that even they forget which version is real. Gemini knows how to study people. They watch reactions. They memorize patterns. They listen for weaknesses. They collect secrets like currency. And they do it with a smile. They can make you feel special in the beginning. They can make you feel chosen. They can make you feel like you found someone who truly understands you. But then the shift begins. Suddenly they are distant. Suddenly they are inconsistent. Suddenly their words become slippery. Suddenly, you feel like you are chasing clarity that never arrives. And when you confront them, they do not panic. They do not break. They do not confess. They twist the conversation. They redirect. They joke. They minimize. They make you feel dramatic. They make you feel unstable. And you start doubting yourself. That is the danger. Because the unhealed Gemini does not destroy you through violence. They destroy you through mental exhaustion, through manipulation of truth, through emotional games disguised as playful behavior. They can lie without blinking. They can deny without guilt. They can betray and still act like nothing happened. And they are so charming that people defend them, even when the evidence is clear. This is why Gemini in shadow is one of the most secretive forms of emotional psychopathy. They can manipulate an entire room. They can control perception. They can make you look like the villain while they play the victim. They know how to create confusion. And confusion is power. Because when you are confused, you are weak. When you are confused, you hesitate. When you are confused, you cannot escape. Gemini understands this instinctively. Now listen carefully. Not every Gemini is like this. An evolved Gemini is brilliant, funny, intelligent, adaptable, a true communicator. But an unhealed Gemini can become emotionally detached, cold, unpredictable, two-faced without remorse. And the reason you do not notice at first is because they do not look dark. They look light. They look friendly. They look harmless. But darkness does not always look like a monster. Sometimes it looks like laughter. If you want the third sign revealed, subscribe now. And comment below if you have ever felt this Gemini energy, where someone seemed charming, but left you mentally destroyed. Third sign I must reveal is Capricorn. Not because Capricorn is emotional. Not because Capricorn is dramatic. But because Capricorn can become dangerously cold when disconnected from empathy. And I speak this as Nostradamus, because in my visions, I have seen the silent ambition that hides behind calm eyes. Capricorn does not explode. Capricorn does not lose control easily. Capricorn calculates. They think long-term. They plan long-term. They move with patience. And when unhealed, that patience becomes strategy without emotion. Capricorn understands systems, power structures, hierarchy, weakness and authority. They can read where influence lives. They can position themselves slowly. They can climb without making noise. And the most unsettling part is this: they rarely reveal what they truly feel. You may think they are calm. You may think they are mature. You may think they are unbothered. But sometimes they are simply detached. An unbalanced Capricorn can disconnect from guilt. They can justify cold decisions as necessary. They can remove emotion from choices that deeply affect others. Not out of chaos. Not out of rage. But out of ambition. They can cut someone off without hesitation. They can end relationships without looking back. They can sacrifice emotional bonds if those bonds threaten their goals. And they will sleep peacefully. Because in their mind it was logical. It was strategic. It was required. Capricorn in shadow does not manipulate loudly. They manipulate through control of resources, through control of stability, through control of structure. They can make you dependent, financially, emotionally, professionally. And once you are dependent, they hold the power. They do not need to scream. They do not need to threaten. Their silence is enough. And if you confront them emotionally, they may respond with indifference. They may respond with logic. They may respond with a cold explanation that makes you feel small for feeling deeply. That is the danger. Because emotional coldness can feel like cruelty. And calculated detachment can feel like abandonment. Capricorn can also hold grudges silently. They do not forget betrayal. They do not forget humiliation. They do not forget disrespect. But instead of reacting immediately, they wait. They rebuild. They reposition. And when the moment is right, they move. Not emotionally. Strategically. This is why Capricorn in shadow is secretive. They hide their true intentions. They hide their long-term plans. They hide their resentment until it is useful. But hear me clearly. An evolved Capricorn is disciplined, protective, responsible, a builder of legacy. The darkness only appears when ambition loses humanity, when success becomes more important than empathy, when power becomes more important than connection. If you have ever felt emotionally dismissed by someone who seemed calm but completely unmovable, you may have encountered this Capricorn shadow. If you want the fourth sign revealed, subscribe now so you do not miss the next prophecy. And comment below if you have experienced this cold and calculated energy. Fourth sign I must reveal is Aquarius. Not because Aquarius is emotional, not because Aquarius is explosive, but because Aquarius can become frighteningly detached when operating from shadow. And I speak this as Nostradamus, because in my visions, I have seen the mind that disconnects from the heart without hesitation. Aquarius lives in thought, in ideas, in logic, in observation. They analyze people the way others analyze theories. They step outside of emotion. They observe instead of feel. And when unhealed, this distance becomes dangerous. Aquarius can detach from guilt. They can detach from consequence. They can detach from the emotional damage they cause. Not because they enjoy pain, but because they rationalize it. They can say it was necessary. They can say it was logical. They can say you are overreacting. And they will mean it. Aquarius in shadow does not manipulate through passion. They manipulate through detachment. They can disappear emotionally without warning. They can ghost without explanation. They can end something suddenly and move forward as if nothing happened. And while you are processing heartbreak, they are already thinking about the next idea. This is what makes it secret. They do not look cruel. They look independent. They look intelligent. They look emotionally stable. But sometimes that stability is emotional absence. Aquarius can also play psychological games without raising their voice. They may withhold affection as an experiment. They may test reactions just to observe behavior. They may provoke debate not to solve, but to dominate intellectually. And if you confront them emotionally, they may withdraw further. They may become colder. They may respond with logic that invalidates your feelings. They can make you feel irrational for being hurt. They can make you feel dramatic for wanting reassurance. They can make you feel needy for asking for connection. And slowly, you begin doubting your own emotional reality. That is the shadow. Because when empathy is disconnected from intelligence, it becomes strategy. When emotion is removed from decision, people become variables. Aquarius in darkness can treat relationships like experiments, observing, adjusting, testing limits. And the most unsettling part is how calm they remain. No shouting, no breakdown, no visible guilt, just distance. But hear me clearly. An evolved Aquarius is visionary, humanitarian, progressive, deeply loyal in their own unique way. The darkness only appears when detachment becomes superiority, when logic becomes cruelty, when independence becomes emotional neglect. If you have ever felt emotionally abandoned by someone who seemed intelligent but unreachable, you may have encountered this Aquarius shadow. If you want the final sign revealed, subscribe now so you do not miss the next prophecy. And comment below if you have experienced this cold and distant energy. Fifth sign I must reveal is Libra. Not because Libra is openly cruel, not because Libra is violent, but because Libra can be one of the most secretly manipulative signs when they are unhealed. And I speak this as Nostradamus, because I have seen this pattern repeat in my visions with terrifying precision. Libra is the master of appearance, the master of charm, the master of social perfection. Libra knows how to smile at the right moment. Libra knows how to speak with sweetness. Libra knows how to make people feel comfortable. And that is exactly why their shadow is so difficult to detect. Because Libra does not look dangerous. Libra looks polite. Libra looks innocent. Libra looks like peace. But peace is not always purity. Sometimes peace is strategy. Libra wants to be liked. Libra wants to be admired. Libra wants to be seen as the good one. And when someone needs to protect an image too much, truth becomes optional. Libra can manipulate without raising their voice. They can control situations without being blamed. They can twist narratives while still looking calm and reasonable. They can hurt you while making it seem like it was your fault. They can betray you while still appearing loyal to everyone else. They can smile in public while privately calculating the next move. Libra is ruled by Venus, the planet of beauty, the planet of attraction, the planet of charm. And when Venus is unbalanced, beauty becomes a weapon, charm becomes a trap, seduction becomes control. Libra knows how to win people over. They know how to build alliances. They know how to turn others against you quietly, not through aggression, through suggestion, through subtle words, through innocent-looking conversations that plant doubt. This is why Libra can be so secretly dangerous, because they rarely confront directly. They avoid conflict, but they still want to win. So they fight in silence. They will smile. They will act fair. They will pretend they want peace. But behind the scenes, they may be manipulating perception. They may be playing both sides. They may be balancing truths in a way that benefits them most. And when you finally realize what happened, the damage is already done. Because Libra does not always destroy you with cruelty. Libra destroys you with confusion, with mixed signals, with emotional imbalance. They can make you question your instincts. They can make you feel guilty for doubting them. They can make you feel like the villain for simply wanting clarity. And that is the true psychopathic shadow. Not loud chaos, but silent control. But I must say this clearly. An evolved Libra is one of the most loving and fair signs in the zodiac. They can bring harmony. They can bring beauty. They can bring balance and peace. The darkness only appears when they fear losing approval, when they fear being disliked, when they fear losing control of their image. That is when the mask becomes dangerous. If you have ever felt emotionally confused by someone who seemed sweet but left you doubting yourself, you may have experienced Libra in shadow. If this revelation hit your soul, subscribe now so you do not miss the next prophecy. And comment below if you have ever encountered this charming, but secretly manipulative energy. Now listen carefully, because the most dangerous people are not the loud ones. The most dangerous ones are the calm ones. The ones who smile while destroying you silently. The ones who speak softly while controlling your reality. I have seen this in my visions many times. And the universe always sends warnings before the fall. The first warning sign is confusion. If you feel mentally tired after speaking to someone, that is not normal. If you feel like you are always explaining yourself, that is not love. If you feel like you cannot trust your own memory, that is not peace. Psychological manipulation always begins the same way. They twist small things. They deny what they said. They make you feel dramatic. They make you feel unstable. And slowly, you begin to doubt your own intuition. The second warning sign is emotional emptiness. Some people do not love you. They study you. They do not care about your pain. They care about what they can gain from it. If someone only appears when they need something, that is a sign. If someone disappears when you are suffering, that is a sign. If someone enjoys your vulnerability, that is a sign. The third warning sign is the mask of perfection. They want to look good in public. They want to be admired. They want to be seen as innocent. But behind closed doors, they become cold. They become distant. They become controlling. The world sees an angel, but your spirit feels the shadow. The fourth warning sign is emotional control disguised as love. They say they care, but they punish you with silence. They say they miss you, but they disappear to test you. They say they want peace, but they create storms whenever you set boundaries. Real love does not test you. Real love does not confuse you. Real love does not destroy your nervous system. The fifth warning sign is the feeling that you are trapped. Not physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. They make you feel like you cannot leave. They make you feel guilty for wanting freedom. They make you feel selfish for choosing yourself. And that is how the soul becomes chained. So here is my advice. Protect your energy. Protect your intuition. Stop giving access to people who do not deserve your heart. Your aura is sacred. Your mind is sacred. Your spirit is sacred. And the moment you start listening to your inner voice, everything changes. Because your intuition is the universe speaking through you. And your intuition always knows before your eyes do. Now the message is complete. And the truth has been spoken. The Zodiac does not create monsters. But it reveals patterns. It reveals shadows. It reveals the energy people carry when they refuse to heal. And I did not share this to make you afraid. I shared it to make you aware. Because awareness is protection. Awareness is power. Awareness is spiritual armor. Some people will smile while hurting you. Some people will promise while deceiving you. Some people will look kind while hiding cold intentions. But now you know. Now you can see. Now you can feel the difference. You will stop ignoring red flags. You will stop confusing charm with loyalty. You will stop mistaking attention for love. And most importantly, you will stop betraying yourself. Because the greatest betrayal is not what others do. It is what you tolerate after the universe has warned you. Remember this. Energy never lies. Eyes can. Words can. But energy never lies. If this prophecy opened your mind, subscribe now so you do not miss the next revelation. And comment below your zodiac sign, because I want to see who is here awakening.